Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold's here, co-founder of Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino. Sort of look like a cow today with this shirt on. Wow. Huh. Interesting. So, how is everyone doing this morning? Good morning, Rezafal. Good morning, Amit. Good morning, Davey. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Andrew. Thank you for being here. Look, the whole crew's in. Anissa, good morning. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Eric. All right. Thank you, everybody, for the good mornings. Where do we sit? Might be a so far uneventful overnight session. Hey, Ken, welcome. Good morning. Thank you for typing in. Again, welcome to all the new people. Hey, Dennis, good morning. So, I really appreciate everybody who types into the chat. It really makes it a fun thing to come into every morning. So, let's just get started. By the way, inflation, Germany inflation still running super hot. Oh boy, Spain inflation coming in slightly better than expected, but still over 10%. Inflation not going anywhere, especially in Europe. Good morning, Josh. Okay. Hey, MJ. Hope everyone has a great day today. Thank you. I do hope everyone has a great day also. And by the way, if you want to be part of this wonderful community, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term subscribers, leave some comments and like the videos. Let's see what's on talk. We had Bark and Speaking this morning again. They're not afraid of a recession. They're serious about hiking. They're just reiterating everything that's been said. So not much. We got Williams speaking at 10. I don't know what he can say. Unless there's some really dovish comments from Williams, it'll probably be ignored. Consumer confidence at 9 a.m. If we have a quiet morning, could have a minor effect on it, but I think more so is going to just be positioning with month end, but there's been no major movement so far. We got the Dallas Fed Services Index. Remember, manufacturing was yesterday still in contraction. Services last time was in contraction. Let's see if it's still in contraction. So those are the two things I'm watching 9 and 9:30 Central Time this morning. Housing prices just came out. Not as much increase as expected, which, yeah, we all know housing's cooling, but no major effects from there. Heat maps, you're pretty green except for oil. Oil pullback overnight looks like, I mean, what is Iraq said they could start pumping more to Europe. We'll just triggered that double bottom. So nice little pullback on that. 66.34 roughly. This is just trading around. Remember, we still got 22 days till the next FOMC meeting, so lots can change, and we are going to have more data come out in September. It's just interesting to see how that fluctuates every day, and still in negative gamma mode. So if something lights a fire, either to the upside or downside, we could have amplified moves. That's why we still highlight that. 41.82 is the flip area, which is pretty far away. I did check in on Best Buy, which beat on earnings, and Big Lots, which beat. Best Buy removing long-term guidance. That's interesting. So I think still not big moves off the beats that I saw this morning. It's more trading. I think the market's going to start shifting to trading guidance instead of earnings. So do keep that in mind. Pay attention to guidance. After we got Chewy, we got HP, both standard HP and HP Enterprise. That's what I'm checking out after the close today. So that's where we sit. Very quiet day. Tried to get a little rally on against selling pressure. Fair amount of selling pressure coming in slightly above, this 50 to 58 area on the S&P. You can see still in a pretty well-formed channeling pattern. So still in, we had the first reaction, secondary reaction to the rotation zone. If we do pop up again now, 40.85 area, 40.77 to 40.85 is what I am focused on. Remember, we still have that potential percent beat buy. I do want to clarify something. Percent B buys against a trend are for a quick pop only, especially on the daily time frame. It's for a quick pop. It's not for let's buy this and hold on to it. When they're with the trend, they are quick pops, but quick pops when you're with the trend tend to turn into a continuation move. When you're against the trend, which we are against the trend in the S&P, especially since we triggered those head and shoulder patterns, they are for quick pops only. That's why I was looking for it on intraday breaks only. With if it closes, then it could be carried over into the next day. They are not for even a week pop when they're against a 1 week pop when they're against the trend. Do keep that in mind, and not just for the financials, for any time I might list out a percent B. And for the people who want to learn the rules, I will clarify that again. But against the trend, quick pop. With the trend, quick pop that could turn into a sustained move. No guidance equals uncertainty. And they're just not guiding. They're pulling their guidance, I should say. And we're going to see a lot more of that. A lot more of guidance being downgraded and pulled. We didn't see this earnings seasons this summer was slightly better than expected. So companies were still able to pass a lot more on to the consumer. However, once you start seeing guidance really drop, earnings are going to get more ugly, and the earnings contraction is not anywhere priced in. I'm watching for potential short-term choppy to upside and then longer-term short. So longer-term short any pops. Why? Because we have longer-term patterns in place that say favor the short side to probabilities. The only monkey wrench in this is we're going into month end. We're in a flag corrective pattern, which any of these corrective patterns give you, especially if you could not get short on Friday, these corrective patterns give you an ability to set up a short position. So you can't ask me bullish or short the pop because there's two different time frames. And the bullish is only choppy to very short-term bullish. Not something where I want to sit, put on long-term positions, and even walk away from the computer for an extended period of time. Support level, roughly today coming in about 40.35 to 40.30. We start breaking below that. We have 4-hour cycles at the top, daily cycles at the bottom. I haven't been able to get anything on yet. And they're still substantial. This is just letting the rotation zones catch up. So even on this pop, remember, if we do close above yesterday's high, still, if you want to know my thoughts on that, you'll have to tune into the recap from yesterday. Not going to reiterate it. But I'd watch for even this 40.84, 40.85 to be a little key resistance going in this morning. And you can use your short-term harmonics and also the retracement harmonics. The retracement harmonics trading above the 25, and the next thing would be the 37.5, which happens to be the 4-hour rotation zone. So 40.85 again. On a stronger rally, the next target would be 41.12. I would not ignore 4,100 because of the strike of the key psychological level and strike price there. It's going to be pretty boring. Remember, if you don't have anything or are playing for the longer term, it's just potential short patterns. NASDAQ also flagging pattern, key resistance. Let's just get through this real quick. Look, 37.5 with the rotation zone, 12.711. And if we did get stronger rally today or tomorrow, 12.800, 12.810. The breakdown area I'm watching is the bottom of the channel and roughly this 12.500. Breakdown below 12.500, going to be targeting the most recent lows from Friday. Other than that, corrective flag. Really boring. Corrective flag. Everything just trading in lockstep. Uh, Again, you get above this 32,325 area. About 32,485 to 32,5 would be the target. The breakdown area, bumping this down just a hair. Breakdown area about 32,080. Russell, breakdown area 1886. No, not a double top, not reversing a big enough a move, but people will focus on if we get below 1880 for a retest of the lows, especially key resistance coming in about 1908. DAX, nice little corrective move. For the people following this was a nice little breakout and retest play. There's also the percent B buy. This is what I'm talking about. Percent B buy yesterday triggered intraday and the follow through. So this, if it does close above here, is just potentially a little slightly more upside, but really completed in a 1 day pattern because it also hit this rotation zone. Rotation zone, key breakdown zone, but that's where the kind of stuff I'm watching for with those little plays. Notes, finishing this little mini double, and then blap, breaking down from the channel pattern. So I'm now targeting potentially on a follow-through move today and tomorrow with the most recent lows back from the 29th. With breaking down from that little channel pattern you see right here, stalling out against the 4-hour rotation zone and rotating down. So nothing on the bullish side just yet. Targeting, wanting to see how these lows hold. Crude, little pullback. Still, the buy pattern still triggered. Pulling back below the 200, so a little stronger pullback than I thought, but nowhere near the stop level on that. So still in bullish mode. Daily cycles rolling over. This could sit and pull back to choppy for the next couple days, and then we'll watch for a resumptive up move. Remember, long term, we still have the bearish pattern. Short term, we have a bullish pattern. It's amazing how long it takes for the market to flip from bullish neutral to bearish, given the Fed non-accommodative stance, inflation companies pulling guidance and uncertainty. People are still ingrained to want to buy the dip. It does not flip easily. And a lot of firms, there is not a lot of stuff that's being paid attention to still with earnings are still really high. Really high. That has not been even targeted. Remember, Wall Street, a lot of these traders in the market now haven't been around since, I'm talking the big firm traders, have not been around. They started after 2008, 2009. And they're used to accommodative Fed policy. They're used to buying every dip. They're used to buying the dip, let it rip. Oh, the markets will be saved. The markets will be saved. I think that's one reason the Fed's sitting here going, we're not going to save the markets right now. The markets are going to do what they're going to do. I think that's the reason they're trying to get it through a lot of these people who've only been around for, when did we start all this QE nonsense and everything else? It's going to be closing in next year on 15 years or 14 years of this crap. Of save the market, save the market. Those patterns aren't, people don't move away from them easily. Good morning, Sashi. Again, looks like a neutral day. Could very well be. If you don't have anything to do, I wouldn't recommend throwing money at this market unless you're positioning for longer term stuff. If, you don't have to trade every day. Hello, Options 22. Good day, George. Human psychology, and that's what it favors bullishness and it's euphoria. Plus, it also favors what people have learned. A lot of people are not students of the market. They don't go back, even if you weren't a market participant during it. It really helps to go back and study price action. I studied price action from the 60s, 70s, and 80s before I started trading and while I was trading. Why? Because it might not repeat exactly, but it sure does rhyme. Let's check in on the VIX. VIX, we'll just be watching today's low. If we start filling the gap, we'll target more to the slight choppy to downside. If we break below today's low, we'll start focusing on that percent B if we do break out again above that key area. Dollar index pausing. Still, the double is potentially in play, but pausing at the daily rotation zone. Nothing else to do. If we start breaking below today's low, it would just be a pullback closer to the bottom of the rotation zone. Euro, US dollar, double still in play, but again, what's interesting is it has to get through the daily rotation zone. If it does, it's technically the probability shift up just a bit. Still against the weekly rotation zone, but the probability shift up just a bit if it does close above the daily rotation zone. But otherwise, nothing to do there. Bitcoin, back to the daily rotation zone, not quite the breakout zone. We'll watch for a rollover play below today's low. Other than that, if it does pop, it'd be running into key resistance about 20,865. Tesla, you want to talk about nothing to do? Nothing to do from my perspective until we start breaking below the 50. Then there's something to do. Even this, there's nothing to do because we could even have a little minor pop into this month end. There's no great strong play right here. There's just no. This is where you don't have to trade a stock every day. So if there's nothing to do, I'm not doing it. Just set alerts for the downside. Even to the upside, it would just be running into some major resistance areas. So if you're trying to trade this, 289, 293 would be the two levels the upside. Level to the downside, 280.70. You start getting below there, I'd be watching the lows back from the 9th. We break down below there. You got that 50 in the place. This is why it's difficult. You got the 50, and then we have the interesting. Then we have technically this rest is clear path pretty much to the first target on the double. Spiders and Qs. This little mini thing looks like it might be ending now. However, could not even get to the first target. That's how weak this bounce was so far against the 1 hour rotation zone. I'll be watching this to see if we pull back a bit more for a potential 1 hour or a 1 hour slash 1 hour, not even 4 hour, 1 hour mini double. After filling the gap, just an So resistance at this point, 404.50. This is where I would not force trading right now. Not worth it. 402.20. Breakout, 404.50. Breakdown, 402. I just give it the 402 areas. But even the breakdown, we could be finding some key support right down by the 29th lows. So nothing major. It's more scalpy. Again, there's just not a lot of great setups right now. I think the lesson is don't force something. If you don't have it, don't force it. 306. Breakout. 303.75 breakdown. If the target for the breakdown actually gives the Qs a little more area, if it gets through to 29th lows back to about 302.50 to 301.85. Mike, unrelated, wonder if you can share Python for trading resources that are helpful in getting started. Yeah. Let's just see real quick here. One thing, if you want to get started, that thing that shares a lot of good good info. If you're on Twitter, follow PyQuant News. They share a lot of good resources. There you go, PyQuant News. They share a lot of good resources about things, and go back through their past tweets and sign up for their mailing list. If you want to just get started or learning some stuff with Python as related to finance, they share a ton of good links. A lot of links out there for free. They can give you a head start. Again, just go back through their tweets. If you look here, every day they put a lot of stuff out here for things to follow. Like a lot of good links that you can check out every day. So that's what I would start with. That will limit your just going down rabbit holes that aren't and it's for a lot of stuff they put out there is completely free. Their newsletter's free. Dennis wants NVIDIA. I mean, nothing's changed since I went over it yesterday, really. You got a little mini potential double. That's the only thing. There's a fair amount of short interest out here in NVIDIA. So I'd just be cognizant of pops to the upside. Other than that, the targets haven't changed. 155, 149, 143 roughly. Trading against the rotation zone. So even on pops, let's say this double were to trigger. Let's say we got a go-go move on. It would just be another shorting opportunity up here in the rotation zones higher. If you don't play from the short side, I'd stand clear. I'd really stand clear. This thing, look, we're probably going to close the day. Did we close? I forgot. Did we close yesterday? No. Today we might close unless we really get some go-go juice going. We'll probably close below 62.5. That favors, then you have the 87.5. 147. 140. You got, so if you're not playing from the short side, there's nothing to do, at least until you complete this pattern to the downside. I'd stand clear of it unless you want to play something like real quick intraday if it popped and triggered the double. But you're trading against the whole trend of the index. You're trading against a very bearish pattern. That's why you know what? There's easier fish to fry than trying to trade things like NVIDIA to the long side. Unless you're really nimble and want to play squeeze patterns. You said all-time high by the end of September. Is it now October? When's it? It's shifting all the time, Tom. You're welcome, MJ. You don't need Python. Python's if you want to learn to code some stuff, there's some interesting stuff. You can do systems testing with Python. Python's a fantastic resource if you're at all geared towards development or coding, and some people like to play with it or do research, and there's some great tools. You don't need it. If you want to just focus on trading, if you want to focus on the more of research and system development and generating some of your own systems, Python's fantastic. For other people, you don't need it. You're short, Dennis? Well, there you go. What I would do is if you wanted, on these pops, again, pops, 1 hour, 4 hour rotation zones, little pop patterns would be used then for reestablishing or modifying your short patterns or short trades. That's the way to be. And I'm stressing that again for anybody new here. That's why we do the sector. Sector, you're bearish. Doesn't mean you can't get pops, but why would I try to trade this from the long side when it's like swimming against the current? Don't swim against the current. By the way, AMD gets to close below the 50, watching for it to return to 84. Well, if Fed wants the market lower, so they buy more. Well, so why are you saying buy calls every day? Why would you stand in front of a market that wants to go lower? And the Fed's saying they want the friggin' market lower. So you're literally talking out of both sides of your mouth, Tom. They were Cash Shikari was celebrating the sell-off from Friday. They want tighter financial conditions. A rally loosens financial conditions. They want this market lower. Doesn't mean you won't get pops in the market. It means they want the market lower. There's an interesting significant level right here on AMD, 91.12. That's key resistance right now. If you're doing anything with AMD, oh, look at that. Right into a rotation zone. That could be a really nice setup coming up for a short trade in AMD. Coco, you're all over the place. It should be Coco all over the place. You should change your little title. You're all over the place. You're bearish on Tom now. Oh boy. All right, going in the open. Let's just see. Let's just see where we're sitting. Then I'm wrapping this up. There is just nothing. This is a mess. It looks like I'm going to make another cup of coffee and sit on hands. The only thing that could be interesting is if you get a NASDAQ break above about 12,580. Other than that, watching for the support to come in lower. This is a This is when you don't force crap. Unless you get something going on. All right. With that, I'm going to wrap it up. Anissa makes a voice of reason. I'm not trying to get anybody. Come on, let's just no, now you're just short, Coco? Coco, we're not going to listen to you at all. You're like a fart in a tornado. You're all over the place. Everyone, have a great day. Lesson today is don't have anything. Don't force it. Keep your powder dry. Keep your money in your trading account and don't waste it unless you have a great setup. I'll talk to everyone after the close. Bye for now.